welcome to my new channel known as SpookyButter. Here, we will be covering the mysteries, terrors, and fears of our inner consciousness, especially the terrors we feared as young children. So come with me, and you'll be in a world of truly pure imagination. You hear a familiar sound, do you not? The gentle chimes of Lavender Town. A song many of us have heard as fans of the Pokemon franchise. It has evolved over the years, yet it still carries that haunting, weightless tone, raising your blood pressure as you sense something clearly ominous about the town. You discover a ghost is inhabiting the tower, which turns out to be the soul of a dead Marowak looking out for its left-behind child. Some say when you encounter Blue at the top of the tower, he is there to bury his deceased Rattata, the Rattata you slaughtered in a previous battle. There are many tales about Lavender Town. However, this evening, we will cover two stories I remember from my childhood. Stories that as a child made my skin crawl and chills slither through my spine. Perhaps they'll have a similar effect to the faint of heart viewing right now. The Lavender Town Syndrome, also known as the Lavender Tone or the Lavender Suicides, was a peak in suicides and illness of children between the ages of 7 and 12 after the release of Pokemon Red and Green in Japan back on February 27th, 1996. Rumors say that these suicides and illnesses only occurred after the children playing the game reached Lavender Town, whose theme music had an extremely high frequency, which showed in studies that only children and young teens can hear due to their ears being more sensitive. Due to the Lavender Tone, at least 200 children supposedly committed suicide. Many more developed illnesses and afflictions. The children who committed suicide usually did so by hanging or jumping from heights. Those who did not acted irrationally and complained of severe headaches after listening to the Lavender Town's theme. Although Lavender Town now sounds differently depending on the game, this mass hysteria was caused by the first Pokemon game release. After the Lavender Tone incident, the programmers had fixed Lavender Town's theme music to be at a lower frequency, and since then, children were no longer afflicted by it. One video appeared in 2010 using special software to analyze the audio of Lavender Town's music. When played, the software created images of the unknown near the end of the audio. This raised controversy, since the unknown did not appear until the Generation 2 games. Silver, Gold, and Crystal. The unknown translate to leave now. If you found that story rather short or uncaptivating, I do not blame you. But you know what they say. Always save the best for last. This is Pokemon Black, and not the Pokemon Black you're thinking of. I'm what you would call a collector of bootleg Pokemon games. Pokemon Diamond and Jade, Chaos Black, etc. It's amazing the frequency with which you can find them at pawn shops, Goodwill, flea markets, and such. They're generally fun, even if they are unplayable, which they often are. The mistranslations, poor quality, make them unintentionally humorous. I've been able to find most of the ones I've played online, but there's one I haven't seen any mention of. I bought it at a flea market about 5 years ago. Here's a picture of the cartridge in case anyone recognizes it. Unfortunately, when I moved 2 years ago, I lost the game, so I cannot provide you with screen caps. Sorry. The game started with the familiar Nidorino and Gengar intro of Red and Blue. However, the press start screen had been altered. Red was there, but the Pokemon did not cycle through. It also said Black version under the Pokemon logo. Upon selecting New Game, the game started the Professor Oak speech, and it became quickly evident that the game was essentially Pokemon Red. After selecting your starter, if you looked at your Pokemon, you had, in addition to Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle, another Pokemon, Ghost. The Pokemon was level 1. It had the sprite of the ghosts that are encountered in the Lavender Town Tower before obtaining the Sylph Scope. It had one attack. Curse. I know that there is a real move named Curse, but the attack did not exist in Generation 1, so it appears it was hacked in. Defending Pokemon were unable to attack Ghost. It would only say they were too scared to move. When the move Curse was used in battle, the screen would cut to black. The cry of the defending Pokemon would be heard, but it was distorted, played at a much lower pitch than normal. The battle screen would then reappear, and the defending Pokemon would be gone. If used in a battle against a trainer, when the Pokeballs representing their Pokemon would reappear in the corner, they would have one fewer Pokeball. The implication was that the Pokemon had died. What's even stranger is that after defeating a trainer and seeing Red received $200 for winning, the battle commands would appear again. If you selected Run, the battle would end as it normally does. You could also select Curse. If you did, upon returning to the overworld, the trainer's sprite would be gone. After leaving and re-entering the area, the spot where the trainer would have been will be replaced with a tombstone. The move Curse was not usable in all instances. It would fail against ghost Pokemon. It would also fail if it was used against trainers that you would have to face again, such as your rival or Giovanni. It was usable in your final battle against them, however. I figured this was the gimmick of the game, allowing you to use the previously uncapturable ghosts, and because Curse made the game so easy, I essentially used it throughout the whole adventure. The game changed quite a bit after defeating the Elite Four. After viewing the Hall of Fame, which consisted of Ghost and a couple of other underleveled Pokemon, the screen would cut to black. A box appeared with the words, "Many years later." It then cut to Lavender Town. An old man was standing looking at tombstones. You then realized this old man was your character. The man moved at only half your normal walking speed. You no longer had any Pokemon with you, not even Ghost, who up to this point had been impossible to remove from your party. The overworld was entirely empty. There were no people at all. There were still the tombstones of the trainers that you had killed, however. You could go pretty much anywhere in the overworld at this point, though your movement was limited by the fact that you had no Pokemon to use HMs. And regardless of where you went, the music of Lavender Town continued on an infinite loop. After wandering for a while, I found that if you go through Diglett's cave, one of the cuttable bushes that normally blocks the path on the other side is no longer there, allowing you to advance and return to Pallet Town. Upon re-entering your house and going to the exact tile where you start the game, the screen would cut to black. Then, a sprite of a Caterpie would appear. It was then replaced by a Weedle, then a Pidgey. I soon realized as the Pokemon progressed from Rattata to Blastoise, that these were all of the Pokemon that I had used Curse on. After the end of my rival's team, a youngster appeared, then a bug catcher. These were the trainers I had cursed. Throughout the sequence, the Lavender Town music was playing, but it was slowly decreasing in pitch. By the time your rival appeared on the screen, it was little more than a demonic rumble. Another cut to black. A few moments later, the battle screen suddenly appeared. Your trainer's sprite was now that of an old man. Ghost appeared on the other side, along with the words, "Ghost wants to fight." You couldn't use items, you had no Pokemon, you couldn't run. The only option was to fight. Using fight would immediately cause you to use struggle, which didn't affect Ghost, but did chip off a bit of your own health. When it was Ghost's turn to attack, it would simply say nothing. Eventually, when your HP reached a critical point, Ghost would finally use Curse. The screen cut to black a final time. Regardless of the buttons you pressed, you are permanently stuck in this black screen. At this point, the only thing you could do was turn the Game Boy off. When you played again, New Game was the only option. The game had erased the file. I played through this hacked game many times, and every time the game ended with this sequence. Several times I didn't use Ghost at all, though he was impossible to remove from the party. In these cases, it did not show any Pokemon or trainers and simply cut to the climactic battle with Ghost. I'm not sure what the motives were behind the creator of this hack. It wasn't widely distributed, so it was presumably not for monetary gain, but it was very well done for a bootleg. It seems he was trying to convey a message, though it seems I am the sole receiver of this message. I'm not entirely sure what it was, the inevitability of death, the pointlessness of it. Perhaps he was simply trying to morbidly inject death and darkness into a children's game. Regardless, this children's game has made me think, and it has made me cry. To those with thicker skin, these stories may not have touched upon your soul too brutally, but to those who fear the cold suffocation of death through means that they cannot control, all I have to say is, sweet dreams tonight.